If you don't want to be recorded, please don't participate. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So what's going on, guys? I'm gonna share right now with you the current submissions for the features. We can talk about that briefly first, and then afterwards, we can pretty much just talk about whatever we want. After the feature, or about 1 hour after the meeting today, I will close off feature proposals, and then we can go ahead and vote on features. So here are the, I'm going to put it in chat, okay? So here are the features. There were 10, only 10. And the details, maybe I should number them so it's easier. Hold on, let me number those for you guys. Let me delete that. I'll number them. I'll number them very haphazardly, but I will number them. Okay, one moment. So the first one will be just a brief description. And then the second one will be like an actual description written by the person who proposed it, okay? Okay, we have one more here. Hold on. 10. So you have to kind of match up. Okay, so details are here. And then I'll tell you guys kind of where I'm at and like where we're at, because I mean, I know I haven't introduced you guys to everyone yet, but we have 2 other people who've joined Migaku. I almost said MIA, but no, Migaku. I'll be honest, I almost said that, but here you go. And I'll tell you kind of what we're thinking about the direction we're heading in, etc., etc. So, but I would like to know what you guys think as far as features go for this month, and what, if there are any other features that someone should propose as well. I don't know if all of, I'm guessing not all of you have proposed something, correct?
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay. Is it, how about the other people here?
I have.
Yeah.
Oh, most people have. Okay. Okay, well, that's good as well. Okay, so I'm putting the final one here right now. Yeah, sorry, I would have had this ready before the meeting, but okay, there you go. So yeah, here are the proposals. So let's take a moment, everyone. Let's look over those, and we can talk about them first, and I can tell you what, you know, my opinion. You guys tell me your opinion on what's important too. I mean, mind you, we're ultimately, this group of people who are talking right now are too small to actually decide the direction. But I'm just curious what you guys are thinking and what direction you think we should be going in. As I think all of you know that we're currently working on the website and stuff, so I see that someone proposed focus on the website as well. So, all right, so yeah, let's just take a moment and look over those. I need to review. I mean, I've looked over them, but I need to look over them one more time as well.
I think your numbering on the details is off. Because I think
Is
2
it?
and 3 are actually the same. Yeah, 2 and 3 are the
Subtitle.
same one.
Wait. Subtitle offset adjustment. Subtitle. All right. This is a second submission. Feel free to drop my first one. Yeah, you might be right. What? These are all that are here, by the way. I think they're not off. I think some people, I deleted, what happened is that I deleted second submission. So you can, like, your first submission is going to be deleted if you make more than one. So make sure you only make one submission. So I think it's matched, no? Export second subs to Anki cards. I'd like to have a keyboard key that can show. Yeah, wait, no, you're right. Wait, what? I think they are off, huh? Well, this is not going well. When the second subtitle is enabled, what is it? Migaku should allow exporting matching subtitles to Anki cards. Yeah, I think these are all messed up. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to just do it through the actual responses, because this doesn't seem to actually be correct. Okay, this is, let me do it this way. So let me delete these. I'm gonna just do each response at like each response by itself.
Are all the proposers?
I couldn't hear you, cut off for a second. What did you say?
Are all the proposers here? Because they could actually just talk on their.
Well, I don't think everyone's here as well.
Okay.
But and then people
The
wouldn't
ones
know
that
what
are
other
can probably
proposals are.
discuss there.
Yeah, of
Right.
course, of course. Yeah, go ahead and you can discuss them while I put these other ones there. That would actually be good.
Who wants to start? Otaku?
Okay, I mean, since nobody's talking, I'll go. So mine was the subtitle adjustment hotkey, mainly because I use a lot of subtitles that have been downloaded using what the fuck is it called? Play On. So it sticks like a 3-second ad. So all of the subtitles I have are off. So having like an adjustment hotkey where I could just say, I'll click here, it starts here, would be super useful. Plus, I think it would be relatively easy to do.
Is that not met by like the newest feature where you can adjust the subtitle?
Yeah, it would be based off of that, but rather than doing it by the actual seconds itself, just having a button that starts everything and offsets everything by that much time.
I could see that being useful as well, like potentially. I mean, like in isolation. I'm not saying that's what we should prioritize, but I could see that being useful, definitely. It maybe is a little bit easier for people to like wrap their head around rather than offset by seconds. I do see like the simplicity in it.
Yeah, I use Subtitle Edit sometimes to do it, and it's got a one-click offset, and it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it might be
So it just
like a good
automatically
idea.
detects.
You wouldn't even need an auto detect. You just need to have the user press a button at that time, and that would just offset everything.
Yeah, what he's saying is like
I
you would
gotcha, I
find where
gotcha.
the first instead of like offsetting by seconds, you would click the position where the first subtitle should start, and then you would just press like offset from here, and then it would just
Gotcha.
offset the entire subtitle from there. So I think that is definitely a better way to do the subtitle like adjustments. Honestly, it's pretty it's pretty good way to do it for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah, I agree.
clunky now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, now it's kind of like editing subsets.rs kind of files.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm probably covering. I think I forget where I didn't really put much thought into it. I just kind of added it, and I think what I'm coming from is like VLC player or something. I know there's somewhere where you do it that way, and I was just like, oh yeah, just implement that feature without thinking about what is the best way to implement the subtitle retiming. But it's pretty obviously this idea of just clicking where it begins. That's definitely the best way to do that. So that's what we'll be doing. I think that's what we should do going forward for sure. So regardless, like whether we vote on that, at some point I would like to make that happen. But it probably won't be this month unless we vote on it. So who else wants to talk about something they proposed? I'm still continuing to post these other ones here as well, by the way.
So I can go next. I proposed the frequency stars, or if possible, also definition on hover. So that way, like when you hover over a word, you can automatically see how common it is based on whatever frequency list you have put into your Migaku dictionary. So if you like the one that's already there, or if you want to use the Netflix one, or if you want to use one based on books or whatever, either way, it'll work out. But that way you can see how many stars it's getting based on that frequency list as to whether or not you should mine it. Bother looking it up.
Okay. May
And
I
then, yeah.
may I ask, like,
Sure.
so with this idea, no, it's totally valid, and I think in the long run, probably just including dictionaries within the extension itself is the way to go. So I'm totally on board with it. I'm just curious, like, where you're coming from is just that it's too clunky to look it up within the dictionary. Like I just want to know where it's where from are you arriving at this? You
The
know what I mean?
mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
No worries. So like going externally into the dictionary add-on, is fine, and it works just fine. It kind of takes you out of that smoothness of the rest of the Migaku player, like or of the browser extension. So like
Yep.
when you're using the browser extension, it's great that you can quickly stream through the show by pressing left or right or however you want to do it. But it would be really nice if you could just like highlight things quickly, almost like how language with Netflix works, where you can just
Yep.
automatically get that definition. It would just make it seem like a much more enclosed and smooth environment.
Do you think, I mean, one idea that I do have in the future is I'm sure most of you at least are familiar with Yomi-chan's highlighting, feature where you press like shift, I think it is, and you hover over a word and it will highlight the longest word from that point, right? So I'm just curious. My plan was to eventually add this sort of functionality, but instead of having the Yomi-chan window coming up within the browser itself, the window the Migaku dictionary window would come up below your mouse in a similar fashion or above it, depending. Like it would actually take into account where your mouse position is on the screen and position itself in the correct place. So it should in effect be the same or very similar to using something like Yomi-chan, but it would actually be an external application. Do you think, what are your guys' thoughts on this? I'm just curious. But also, I should say one other thing. I have a plan that hopefully will be going in very, very soon. I don't know when because, life is hectic and busy. But I would really like to put in this revised database I guess structure, for the Migaku dictionary, which should allow for much faster searches. So it would kind of make this work even better, this feature that I'm talking about now. So yeah, anyways, opinions on that.
I think it'd be fine if you did that. I just don't see it being very much different than like the word bubble that already pops up when you hover over a word.
Yeah, I was thinking to do like a mode where you could kind of turn that off even potentially. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like it would be just you turn that off and there wouldn't be that mode. Like you could turn off hover because not every I envision at some point in the future that not potentially putting in dictionary support within the extension itself. And then when that would happen, not everyone's going to be using the same dictionary, right? Like some people might still choose to use Migaku dictionary. I'm not it becomes kind of complicated then actually, but I'm not going to go into the nuance of that situation. But I could see something where you would turn off the hover feature in the extension itself, and instead you could use the dictionary add-on or something like that. Because the dictionary add-on already has so much functionality built in, I think it might be the way to get the most value,
Right.
for the smallest amount of investment right now. You see what I'm saying? Where I could just do some quick coding to make sure that the window is positioned correctly and that the browser extension communicates on shift hover with the dictionary and places the window at the correct position at the correct size and something like that. So it'd be akin to Yomi-chan as I was saying, but you could disable the other pop-up option in the dictionary for if in the settings or whatever. What do you guys think
I
about
think
that?
I definitely think
Oh.
that would work. The only thing I would say is then you might want to make the dictionary window smaller.
Yeah, I agree.
So that it was
That's
a little,
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of being selective, right? Because the dictionary has a lot of functionality in it, so you kind of have to like pare it down to what it actually does and shows.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like perhaps like an even simplified version of the dictionary window, or just like
yeah, exactly.
how about instead of that, like I could add a button to the dictionary window that would just like minimize the heading. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you know how for the toolbar in the Migaku extension you can minimize the entire toolbar? We can do something similar like that and just leave like the search button and you see what I'm saying? You could just leave the search box and the search button itself, and then the dictionary could become much more compact. What do
You
you
wouldn't
guys
even
think
need to
about
leave
something like
that
that?
much.
You think nothing
One
at
of the
all?
nice things about like nothing at all, because like when you think about using Yomi-chan,
Yeah.
the great part is it just comes up in this tiny little box. It gives you your definitions and your audio right there, all in one click.
Okay.
And like it's, there's nothing, because you're not going to want to search anything aside from the word you're already hovering.
True. Maybe it should just be nothing, huh? Okay.
That's what.
Yeah.
So that's my mindset, and that's kind of what I was saying about like the boxes you already have there
Mhm.
are already meeting that fit. I understand that doesn't necessarily directly connect to the dictionary add-on, but
Yep.
it's already like aesthetically small enough
Yeah.
where it's not like this big clunky thing that just gets in your face.
Yeah,
So
well,
if
no,
you did something similar,
No, the idea with doing the pop-up with the dictionary add-on is that it would also I would actually work on styling so it wouldn't just look like garbage. I would make it hopefully it wouldn't. I would make it borderless as well, so it would be very, very similar in like aesthetically. It would look very similar to what the current pop-up does, or I mean, obviously, hopefully, it'd look better. Or it would look at least somewhat like Yomi-chan does currently. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
It could look the same way, even though it's an external application.
and then I mean, like I know that you're talking about hitting the shift button, but like, and this is minuscule, but like you could do it all with just your mouse. I think that would be
Yeah. I mean, that could be adjustable. That's fine, because you wouldn't want necessarily that always coming up if you're like just reading a website or something. I can see that being annoying. I think that's why Yomi-chan does it with shift. But I can see that when you're watching a show, it'd be a different situation. You might just want it on hover.
Yeah, Yomi-chan also does it with middle click.
Oh, okay, yeah, we could do something like that.
Side note. Okay, cool. That's all I got.
Okay, so anyone else want to give some feedback about this idea then as well? Hover dictionary idea. And what do you guys should this be? Also, do you think this should be added to the feature proposals? We could do something like that as well. Like, if you think it's valid enough.
I just want to call out that my mining setup is I use a Surface Go. The Surface Go is like a 10-inch screen. It's small. It's like tablet size.
Cool.
Right, so not everyone uses like multiple screen setups. So for me, it's hard to go back and forth between the like I know a lot of you have like the dictionary set up permanently on the right side, and that takes up a lot of screen real estate. So for me, having as much screen space possible for the video itself is nicer. So just calling that out.
I also agree with that. So a lot of my mining, I literally have like a TV that I mine on, then I'm sitting on a couch, so I just use a mouse.
Yeah.
So like something that doesn't constantly need to be up and down is nice.
Yeah. So you guys mean you don't have a 5-screen display set?
Not yet.
No, it's only
Oh,
4.
I thought what I was using was the standard. Okay, I apologize. Sorry. Okay. Cool. Okay. No, yeah, I definitely get that. I think I'm gonna actually write this down right now, because this is, now that I'm hearing your guys' thoughts on it, I think this is something that I should push kind of higher into the priority list, because this is something you guys are dealing with like on a daily basis. It's not, like not even just a moment to moment basis. I could see how it could become frustrating. So
Yes. Like I said, like the way it's set up now is absolutely usable. It could just be a much smoother process for those of us who are actually using it on a daily basis.
But Otaku, wouldn't you say, or I'll just call you Dave, wouldn't you say that going with just the frequency information would be kind of a halfway measure? That's kind of how I potentially see it. Because if you're
and
going
that's why I was saying like, I
Go on.
100% agree. And that's why I was saying if you could do stars and dictionary, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But like I know that implementing all of the dictionary would be a lot more data than just having the stars.
It definitely
I didn't know
would be.
if that was going to be a limiting thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's okay overall, because Yomi-chan does the same thing, right? It just loads it into the database, and we can do the same thing. That's not a problem. But I'm saying, if we want to achieve, that's what I'm saying. If we want to achieve what you want to achieve more quickly and more easily, the move might be, the sort of hover with a dictionary add-on, not looking terribly, with like the ability to also minimize, the how the dictionary add-on looks. Or it could also just be the situation could also just be that if you shift hover, or if you do the hover mode, it will pop up without the header. You know what I mean? The header will just not appear. And if you actually search a word clicking the magnifying glass, then the full dictionary could appear. We could do something like that as well. You see what I'm saying? Although the
Yeah, I like
functionality might be a little bit clunky for people
will
who don't know how
say-
to use it.
I will say having it preloaded does allow it to pop up faster. You did talk about how you're going to speed up the search for the dictionary, so that
Yeah.
would probably be a little critical. Voracious is another example of this, where
Yeah.
it's just like it's a quick hover, and then you see, it and then you move on.
No,
So,
yeah, this could definitely happen. As you're saying, another thing that I could do is for this hover dictionary, I could just never. The reason the first time it pops up is it's slower. It's because it was not designed for this hover functionality, so the actual dictionary needs to load up each time, right? If you're starting the dictionary in the dictionary add-on, that's why if you don't actually close the window, it works a lot more quickly, right? But something that could happen is that I could just, hide it and keep it loaded in the background at all times, and that way it could be very responsive. So that could happen as well, like if we just chose to do something like that.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that would be definitely a good way to go with it.
Okay, I'm gonna note. So should I alter your proposal to be more in line with that? Is that what you want to do, or do you want to keep it with frequency proposals within the within the browser extension itself, or like not frequency, frequency information within the browser dictionary itself, or what do you want to do? I suppose it's up to you.
As long as the same means is being met, I think it's perfectly fine to alter my proposal.
Yeah. Okay. I think it'd be. I mean, if I don't do a shit job, I'm gonna put that out there. If I don't do a shit job, I think it'd be better than what you're proposing. If I don't do it, big if there, but I think I could do. I don't know how long it'd take, but I think it'd do better. It would be overall more usable. Hopefully. Lots of hopefullys,
Cool.
lots of
Good deal.
ifs there. Okay, cool. Okay, then I'll
I think
put.
we all trust you. So
Well, maybe you shouldn't because I don't know. Guys. Just look at the state of the dictionary add-on. Just look. It's a nasty, or not the dictionary add-on. Well, that too, but look at the browser extension. It is
Look, man,
a displeasing
trust
sight.
you. We think.
Go
We
on.
trust you. We think it'll be good. You've also called out that
What's
you're
up?
going to hire someone to eventually do like a UI overhaul, right? So we trust you to get the functionality in there and have it be usable, and we trust that you're going to get someone to make it look
Yeah.
nice later.
I
Alright,
think
so to
Dave
be fair,
Dave can hit a little bit that he I mean it's not perfect, but Dave, I think it's okay as long as you don't actually share. I think it's okay to say. So Dave's been helping me with some feedback on the website that we're working on. I think it's okay for you to say. So do you think it's of an acceptable quality aesthetically, or what do you think?
yeah, absolutely. I think the website is coming along great. I think it's very, very clean. I think it's professional looking.
So yeah, we'll do the same thing with the browser extension. I mean, there's only one guy's opinion, in my own opinion, who's working on the project, so I guess it doesn't count for much. But yeah, no, Cloak, for sure, man. Like we will do. It's gonna be legit. Like once we get a feature complete browser extension, that thing is gonna look nice. It's gonna hopefully look beautiful. It's at least gonna look pretty.
Yeah, we trust you.
I'll say the browse, at least the extension is way better than it was 6 months ago.
6 months ago, it didn't exist, bro.
I know.
Okay, yeah. You mean like that was like 2 months ago when we
Nice.
launched it, yeah. So I hope no. When I launched, oh man, guys, it was such a mess even getting that. Like, I can't even believe I met the launch window at all on that because I felt really bad launching it in the state it was. I think it should be a lot more usable now, right, than it was. How do you guys think it's coming along as far as usability? Not as far as anything else, because I know it's trash on those on those on those measures. Yeah, I guess that's what I want to say. On those measures, it's trash. That I know.
That's it. Seriously, no, it is good. It was good when it first released, even though it was like very minimal and still kind of buggy. But like the way which it's improving is fucking ridiculous. Like, good job on that.
I appreciate. Oh, that's very nice of you. It's actually yeah, we have to go a long way. But that's very nice of you. I appreciate it. We'll actually make it work with other languages really soon, because that's something I promised I originally promised that would happen before Christmas, but now guys, it's not looking
Oh, Lucas, I
Oh,
know by the
God.
holidays we're waiting for Chinese.
Oh shit, he's here. The doc is here, guys, and that's who I remember. You're the one who asked. Yeah, shit, I'm on the hot
Because I
spot.
feel like I can't really comment on any of this because with studying Chinese, I can't like provide any feedback.
I'm on the hot
Uh,
spot here, guys. Oh
yeah.
shit. No, yeah, no, I don't remember. I think it was you who asked. You're like, when is it actually gonna come for Chinese? I said before the holidays. Hey, it's not looking too hot for before the holidays anymore. I'll be honest,
Well-
but it should be like right after the holidays, though. Hopefully.
Did you say which holidays?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say. We're talking about
We're not
Valentine's
talking
Day,
about
guys.
Valentine's Day here.
We are
right?
talking
Oh
about
my God.
Valentine's Day. We were. It's the truth. I'm sorry,
Oh.
go on. Sorry. Yeah, my
Alright.
bad
I
on
mean,
it.
I would
though.
say
Well, sounds
that I
good,
think a lot
yeah.
of the features that we're talking about
The
today
thing I
will
put in
benefit
for
all
the
languages.
proposal. Oh,
Hold on, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let Dave talk, and then go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, my bad. No, I was just saying that I think that a lot of the features that we're talking about today would also benefit all languages.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I think those features are more. Yeah. I mean, actually, by the way, Dave, I couldn't hear you too clearly. So, next time you speak, could you? I don't know if you need to adjust your mic or something, but.
Yeah, sorry, I'm wearing a mask. I'm out right now.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Hey,
But
if we actually get frequency stars in the thing, that opens up like other different features.
Yeah.
Like then you can say the yellow highlighting for a word. Maybe you only
Yeah.
want to highlight the ones that are 3 stars and higher.
oh, one thing too that you guys might want to consider putting in right now, but it would only help Japanese learners is Furigana only on unknown words. Oh, another awesome idea, actually, guys. He's not here, but I forget it was Dame or DM. I forget what his name is on Discord. But anyways, he said this is a really good idea that I like. That words that are, or not words, sentences or subtitles that are what do you call it, one target should be played like multiple times, or something like that. I thought, oh, this is actually pretty good because it gives you a chance to like really hear the new word. What do you think about something like that as well? I'm just curious. That doesn't have to be a proposal or whatever. I'm just curious what you guys think. I remember just hearing about that idea soon. I'm actually set up to talk with him next, or I'm going to set up to talk with him next week sometimes because he has some other things to show me as well. But I thought something like bringing the control of the actual playback to be more related to whether word or whether subtitle lines are zero target, one target, multi-target or something might be an interesting concept, and I'm just interested in hearing your guys' feedback.
I think instead of like replaying it automatically, you probably just want to do something like stop on one target words or something.
Okay.
Or it could also be like a toggle feature.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Anyone else? No? Okay, yeah, that's something to keep in mind, but yeah, I definitely have that idea coming up. Okay, so did anyone else make a proposal? 'Cause I think we're kind of getting lost as far as the trajectory of the conversation, which was trying to see if people other people who were here or who are here propose anything else. So did anyone else make another proposal, was it, or no?
I made one, and I think it might actually be a quick fix, like much quicker than everything that's being discussed. Is I think Otaku was discussing this for Japanese, but basically this back to the dictionary and the frequency lists. I wanted to be able to import like a show or a newspaper or like different frequency lists, and then have the star system change, because there's a lot of common words that are 1 star in the frequency list that comes with Chinese. So I'd love to have like a movie one, a newspaper one, like maybe even a dialogue one, and to choose between them. So if somebody has that, for me it's Chinese, but maybe it should be the commonly learned languages. I don't know what but maybe this is a quick fix, maybe it's not. But like, there's obvious. I want to be able to like have I know these frequency lists exist. I just don't know anything about programming, and to be able to put them in the right file, and to be able to stick them in. Okay, now I want this one. In 3 months, I actually want the shows one, and in 3 months, I actually want newspapers and magazines.
Are you talking about the
Into the
dictionary add-on?
The dictionary add-on with the stars.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because there's two monolingual dictionaries and there's one bilingual
I
dictionary
see.
for Chinese. The bilingual one, I believe, has the stars. And the star system, I have no clue what it's based on, but I need like a
Okay.
few of them to test it out.
Okay.
So maybe this is,
Well,
yeah.
I want to just tell you a little bit about an idea that we have coming up with the browser extension, which one is going to be that at any time you can press a button and download a frequency list. I mean, this is probably after we rework the toolbar. The toolbar is going to end up being a lot fatter with a lot more functionality, guys, but it's going to be redesigned in a way that hopefully is more pleasing to the eye as well. But the idea will be that it's minimized 90 whatever percent of the time, right? And you unminimize it whenever you need to tweak a setting. But something that we're thinking to do is a one button press to go ahead and add whatever either website you're on or whatever the subtitle of whatever video you're watching to a frequency list and download that frequency list like on the spot. And then there's also another idea to, I think both of these will eventually make it in as well, to have a frequency list that is updated every time you parse a page. Now, of course, parsing is only available for Japanese right now, but that's going to be coming for other languages as well. And the idea is that it will keep a per language frequency list based on every page, either website or subtitle that you parse. And then anytime you can download that in the settings, there'll be like a frequency list tab in the settings or something probably. And then you can download that, and you can probably also browse it as well. And you can download that at any time. And then once you download it, you can go ahead and upload. You can use it in the dictionary add-on. Or and also I want to say one thing, that the dictionary add-on, the frequency list functionality is going to be changed along with that restructuring of the database that I was talking about earlier. It's not only going to make searching for definitions faster, it's also going to make the necessity to re-import a dictionary in order to update the frequency list information for that dictionary obsolete. So they're going to completely isolate that update. The plan is, anyways, for that update to completely isolate the frequency list search from the dictionary search itself. So they will not be coupled in any way. And now, the exact details of how we would implement multiple frequency lists under that system is to be determined, but at least the thing that I can say now is that we will be able to at least choose at any time and change at any time which frequency list is being, like, the stars are based on. So that is something that is coming up.
But until the Chinese support is available for the browser extension, is there a solution that you have now for the Migaku dictionary where I can change around the frequency list that is used for the star system? Because I mean,
do you have other frequency lists?
I've seen them online. I just don't know what format they need to be in.
Oh, I see. Well, the format is written. If you go to the latest Patreon post that is about the huge update for the browser extension, in that post there's also a download for the Migaku dictionary, like for the legacy version of the Migaku dictionary guide. And if you download that, the exact format needed for a frequency list is stated there. So if you have any file of that format currently and you put it into your language folder, like if you talk about the user files, dictionaries, and then you put it in your Chinese folder, that would be in your case. And then you would have to remove the current dictionary in the current system, and then start Anki once, and it would remove all the dictionaries. Then you would replace those dictionaries back into your user files, dictionaries, Chinese folder. And once you do that, it would.
Do I have to mess around with the dictionaries, or can I just take out the frequency list and put in a new
Unfortunately, now
one?
they're coupled. It is a bad design that would not have happened. I mean, I didn't realize that it seems that a lot of people care about the changing the frequency list, but before it wasn't necessarily predicted that people would always seek to change their frequency list that they're using. So it was just kind of coupled together, which allowed for faster searching under that database structure. But going forward, there is a refined database structure that can both allow for, going further with more thought, I should say. There is a refined database structure that allows both for faster searching and decoupled dictionary and frequency list searches. So that's what we're going to be going for in an upcoming release. But in the meantime, you have to reinstall a dictionary in order to include the frequency list information within that.
So take out all the old dictionaries and the frequency list, restart Anki, put in the same 3 dictionaries, and then I think there's instructions on where to put the new frequency list.
You can also, if you read the legacy guide, which is available in that Patreon post I was just talking about, it tells you exactly what to do there. So I would just reference that, and it will tell you exactly. It won't steer you wrong, like within the current version, anyways. It won't. So.
I mean, I could paste the new one into the chat.
You can also just random quotes actually worked on the new one. You can just paste it in here. Yeah, it's fine. I don't care. Go ahead. That's fine. Yeah. Don't make sure not everyone can edit that because you don't need anyone just.
No, I was just gonna paste
trolling us. Okay,
I was just gonna paste the thing into the chat.
Yeah. There's no images in it right now, but just know that we are working on the new updated guides. It's just the real reason that they're not out right now is just because I've been so preoccupied with some other projects, but that is like very soon in the future, right after the holidays. During the holidays, we have like 2 big projects planned, 2 big releases that are coming up, along with also the vacation add-on public release. Finally, I know it's been a year, so it's like it seems fitting to release it. You know what I mean? So it should be good. I mean, I have to do a lot of testing this upcoming week, but the idea is that after that, I will have I plan to spend a lot of time making sure that along with the preparations for releasing the website, I'm going to put a lot of time into these guides because I have received so many like a major, not complaint, I guess feedback. A lot of the feedback that I've been receiving from people is that they don't know what the hell they're doing at all. So the guides need to make it out along with a detailed guide. Another thing that needs to make it out is a more concise, use it right now guide that only goes over just the basics. So those kind of things will be coming out.
It has to be named frequency.json. Wow, okay. Sounds good.
But are you sure it's of the correct format? Because that matters as well. Are you seeing the format?
Yeah, it has to actually be named frequency.json according to this thing you pasted.
Yeah, not only that, but it also has to be of the correct JSON format. Like itself.
Oh, I have hopefully I can find it on the internet.
Yeah.
But you only have one, Lucas, right? You only have one for Chinese that you know of.
There are more. No, there are more, yeah, but we only have one that I actually put in the correct format at the current moment. Yes. But it's relatively easy. If you can just open a JSON file in Excel or something, you can just delete the columns that you wouldn't need and then export again as JSON, and you should get the correct format. Okay, you can. This is really
might be above my pay grade, but we'll see.
This is really dry conversation probably for the meeting. Most of it has been, but it is what it is. I mean, not as if this is particularly dry compared to the other conversation we had thus far, because it is what it is. It's a bit technical. It gets a bit technical talking here on the Migaku server. That it is what it is. But anyways, you can message me later, and I can look over what you're trying to do and help you out if you'd like. Just do it during the week. Good. Yeah, during the week this week. Later in the week would be better. But I can take a look. So.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, guys. So let's take a quick peek at these proposals again, and let me see. As an official Migaku spokesman, because last meeting, what I did, I was like, as an official Migaku spokesman, I think the most valuable thing is to, vote for the site. So let me see if I have any recommendations as an official Migaku spokesman. Let's see. Shirt title. Okay, hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, I think one that would be good, perhaps that would add a lot of value. I'm not sure if it's the most value. If you guys would look at the third proposal from the bottom, it's simply to export the second subtitle to Anki cards as well. This would require both a change in the browser extension as well as the dictionary add-on, but it would allow people to go ahead and export, for example, the the English subtitle along with the Japanese subtitle. This can actually be extremely tricky because of the fact that actually never mind, I instantly found I love that programming mind. It's just nope, found a solution, never mind, we're good. Never mind, we're good. Yeah. Well, because I was going to say, because the timings are different, but you can just do it that if any subtitle for the other language is shown, it would just be added to the card. So it might be multiple. Say it was one Japanese subtitle, but three English subtitles would be shown during the same time that one Japanese subtitle is shown, then you would just include all three in the card. So we can do something like that with relative ease. So I kind of, or not I did, but like my brain just came up with that solution without me even thinking about it. But I think that would be fine. So what do you guys think about that? So, because looking at these, I think most value, either that or of course Dave's is the best, and they're both both sufficiently narrow in scope, which I would say that I could probably get those out even before like while working on the website. I can go ahead and just spend like some time and get either of those features. I mean, I'm not sure about the dictionary add-on is going to be a little bit more tough, but I can do one. I can do probably one or the other if I push it. But I guess Dave's solution would require a bit more work, or Dave's proposal would require a bit more work than the other one. But I think those are of the highest values objectively.
What was the first one? Sorry, briefly.
You mean Dave's or
No, the shorter, the one that you were just describing, the first,
Oh.
the first one.
Sorry, no, yeah, that would be because now we have support for two subtitles on screen at the same time, right? So you can, for example, you can put the target language Chinese subtitles, and then you can at the same time put the native language English subtitles, right?
Oh, okay.
So in doing so, currently, if you export a card to Anki, you're only going to get the Chinese. Like if the case that the first subtitle is Chinese, you can only get the Chinese subtitle onto your card, like automatically without copying it over, right? So the idea would be to add another field to the card exporter, which would be like the translated or the second subtitle field or second sentence field, and that would map to that second subtitle.
But not a definition, like expression. You're not talking about the back of the card, like your definition for your I+1 word. Because I mean, I don't know that many people that use full-on English sentences to rep. That seems kind of a.
No, a lot of
do? I
people.
don't know.
No, a lot of it's very useful for beginners actually because it gives you the thing is, I would also say that most English subtitles or just subtitles in general, they're not usually translated very accurately, so the value that you get from them does drop substantially because of that. But a potential value that particularly a beginner can gain from having both the target language sentence and the native language translation on a card is that they can kind of compare the structures of. This is something that I really enjoy to do, but you have to be pretty particular of getting high quality translations, which can be difficult. And in the case of subtitles, perhaps you're not always going to get that. So your not your criticism, but your point is well warranted. But I would say that the benefit would be just seeing the comparison, and seeing like the structure of the target language sentence and then the meaning in your native language. I found that this sort of comparison really allowed me to pinpoint the differences in both languages, and that pinpointing will actually allow you to notice where to pay attention in your immersion as well. So there can be like substantial value, and it also just kind of can be a reassuring kind of thing to a beginner that yeah, maybe I don't understand the target, the target language sentence right away, but I have some extra assistance in doing that by having that translation available to me as well.
It would also be good for if you were laddering.
Go on.
Laddering is when you're using a second language to learn a third language.
Oh, yeah, I see. Well, I mean,
because doing it that way, like you end up avoiding the joining them together thing, and having dual languages like that would be useful for that.
I mean, yeah, I think the same limitation that I talked about, or that I was just mentioning, which is the limitation of the quality of the translation, would still apply even in a laddering situation. But yeah, it could potentially be good. But a lot of subtitles are pretty. They leave a lot to be desired as far as translation quality goes. They're pretty liberal, and they should be. Mind you, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be the way they are, because they should be, because their goal is not to help the language learner. You know what I mean? It's to make an entertaining, program for whoever is reading the subtitles. So it makes a lot of sense why they are the way they are, but just keeping that in mind is all I'm saying.
So I'm curious, is the browser extension a separate app from the Netflix thing, or is that integrated into the same app?
I don't understand what you mean by Netflix thing.
So the for me, what I'm particularly interested in is the being able to read something in a browser and then having the words that I don't know, being able to show me the tones and obviously the definitions, bilingual, monolingual. So is that something separate from the thing where you pause after every subtitle?
No, that's all the same. That's all the
Netflix?
Immerse with Migaku browser extension. Yeah.
Oh, it's all combined. Okay,
Yeah,
it's all
that's
combined.
one. Yeah, that's one thing. So, yeah. I see why you might not be familiar, because you're not Japan, or you're not a Japanese learner, so you don't you're not
Okay.
you haven't been using it, so you don't see it. Yeah, no, it's all one thing. It's all just one program, and it'll be coming. It's already how the extension is written right now. It's written in such a way that you can toggle other languages. I just have to go in. I have to make the structure, the actual code structure, a little bit better. But it's made in such a way that I can just plug and play. I can do a Chinese, implementation. Just plug it in there, and then just switch to Chinese, and you should be able to be up and going, relatively easily. But it's just I haven't had, I'm just so swamped as far as work goes, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen at least by next month. That I can tell you. Unless the
Awesome.
site stalls like hell, but I can't promise. But
Yeah, no.
it should.
My link is going to expire in February, and I got tired of it, so I'm excited to do something that can integrate everything.
No, yeah, you should be good before then, hopefully. And a future feature that I've at least jotted it down. I'm not sure how much I've been thinking about it recently, is the ability to go ahead and import your known words from Link as well. So we can do something like that in the future as well.
Oh yeah, sweet. I might just download it for Japanese, because I'm curious if is it possible that your known words, maybe it's already like this, but your known words are just black text, and if the word is unknown, you'd be able to see the color of the tone signature. Is it already like that, or does it you have to do it either or for all the words? I guess I can check
the tone.
Yeah.
If you're talking about for Japanese, the way that the actual learning word status functionality works, it's not related to the actual highlighting of the text itself. Instead, in order to allow the actual text coloring to take place, it's actually on an colored underline system. So if you have a red color underline, that means that the word is unknown. If you have a yellow colored underline, that means that the word is learning, or you've seen it before, right? You've marked it as learning. You kind of know the word, but you're not confident you know it, or it's not in an Anki card that has at least a 21-day interval, which you can change what interval is considered your known
it's
interval.
linked to Anki. It's linked to Anki. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's already like that in a way, but anyways, for a known word, there is no underline unless you hover the word. So the idea is that eventually you would remove all the underlines and you would just be reading like a regular you know what I mean? Like the like going back to regular text without underlines is kind of the goal. You know, like you don't want any
Yeah.
underlines. So underlines mean that you don't know something. So the whole idea is to
'Cause
remove all the underlines.
Yeah, like right now, my current workflow is a disaster. Like, if I'm in the Kindle is one thing, but if I'm reading in Ling, I'm coming across an unknown word, I'm clicking on it, I see an English definition on the right, which is inevitably
Hmm.
not one I like. So then I go to the Migaku Chinese dictionary. I'll put like a monolingual definition into Ling into that box, and it takes like it's like 10 clicks for one unknown word. I'd
Yeah.
rather just read. You know, it's like I think it would be much. Anyway.
No,
Yeah,
for sure. No, for sure. Yeah, Chinese support is coming. Don't worry. That's along with a few European languages that I have in mind. That's number one. Korean is gonna be a little bit after that because Korean is freaking crazy to parse. So it's gonna be a little bit
the
after that.
grammar. Yeah, the grammar is a disaster.
Well, it's not
Chinese,
because of the
luckily,
grammar. It's not because
yeah.
of the grammar. It's actually just because of the written system. They have the most possible combinations of any language, so it's literally millions or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, which is programming wise, a number like a million isn't really that intimidating, but it is a lot. So it is something that has to be taken into account when implementing it. So yeah, that will be something I have to keep in mind when going forward. Anyways. Yes.
All right. Well, it's Saturday for you guys. No cheat days. Today's Sunday for me.
Cheat day, baby. I'll be honest. Oh, I don't know. No, you're not at the. Oh god, I don't think any of you guys are at the personal support here. But shit, you just reminded me that I have to release my weigh-in, and my weigh-in was not loyal this week. But it is what it is, guys. Sometimes you just get a little, you get a little cheaty during the week, and can't help yourself. Can't help yourself. So it's not an excuse, but it is a fact.
Have you done?
What's up?
A lot of the radiologists I work with, they do like either a stand. I don't like the treadmills, but they stand at their desk. I stand all day at work because I can't sit anymore.
No.
But that's that, and I take like 15-minute walks throughout the day and outside. That's why that's part of the reason why I feel like I'm thin and healthy, is because in our field, like I'm the same field as you. I'm behind a computer all day. You can
Yeah.
get really, but I mean, coding, man, that's
Yeah,
I
it's
think
rough.
all these
It is.
frequency lists. You have it rough, man. You have a patience of an iron will.
Yeah, oh,
Anyone that's
I feel
coding.
like I do sometimes. Yeah, I feel like I need to, but yeah, go on.
Actually, I think I am on the personal supporter tier.
Oh, are you? Oh shit! No, I guess I'm on the yeah. Guess I'm on the hot seat today because I didn't lose any weight this week. Oh, hey, spoiler alert! Shit. No, it's all good. Hey, treadmill is coming Monday, by the way, though. If you are in the personal supporter tier, and I guess everyone else, you're getting a little sneak peek into what's going on there. Treadmill is coming Monday, so it's about to be on. I'm telling you, it's about to be Go City time, or Shred City time. It's about to be Shred City time, so I'm hopeful. No, but hey, as far as Wandering Dock, I can't get an adjustable desk. Actually, something that I plan to do, and I actually bought this before. There are standalone tall desks, and then I plan to use just the top, like my top screen, along with that standing tall desk at times to just do some programming. But the problem is that a standing desk does not work with my current configuration because I use like, 4 screens. So you can't really just raise that in a simple way. It's the desk weighs like a fuck ton, to be precise in language, a fuck ton. So considering that, it's not really feasible to do a standing desk, unfortunately. It's not recommended. So another idea that I do have, and actually I bought it once, but it was an I like messed up, and it was not an adjustable tall desk that I could just place my keyboard and mouse on and code on my top monitor. But
Yeah.
I never did just go back and buy another one and try it again. And even if I did, I would always be limited because I actually use all of my monitors when I work. You know what I mean? I have like a system of using all of my monitors. So it's just one glance here, one glance there, one glance, to whatever
Yeah.
side, and I have the information that I need. So when you're programming all day, it can be very convenient to have just a screen for everything. So it's a bit of a shit show as far as using a standing desk, unfortunately. But I have thought about it, and that's something that I'm actually interested in. But I'm not sure if there's a really tangible solution for that with my setup that I prefer and that has actually provably made me more productive. So
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, the productivity is it's a big thing.
yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm not worried.
So-
I was just saying I bought a treadmill recently, so I'm about to hopefully we're on point. We're gonna be on point going forward here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, when I go back to the U.S., I want like my own small gym and even a sauna.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of these places telling me, right now they close the sauna. They're at like a higher level because of the virus thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just tired of people telling me what to do. Like I can still go to the gym, but like you eventually you got to get and I'll just get like a little platform to do maybe deadlifts and squats and a few dumbbells.
I actually bought a
You know.
home gym as well with along with my savings are like that was not good for my savings, but I have to just go ahead and I want to. I mean, if random quotes, you're you're at that tier. I'm just really trying to give you guys better personal supporter content, so I want to end this series. That's why I went ahead and splurged a little bit and bought both the treadmill and the home gym, and I hope I'm very hopeful that that's gonna help. But I need to actually pick up the physical activity part because as far as diet, I'm decently okay. So that's not that issue. It's just fucking programming, man. It's so sedentary. It's ridiculous. So
Dude, I feel you. I got a sedentary job and it sucks. I also
Yeah.
have a wife who loves to feed me like disgusting,
Me-
terrible food.
yeah,
It
good,
doesn't
good.
help.
Me too, yo. I feel it.
Like, I come home, it's like, oh, why aren't you eating? Here, have some food.
Good, good. They should be glad, but you should probably just get that stand-up desk, that wandering dog.
I like it, but it has not done like any like help for my weight. Because when I came here, I was super skinny. Now I am not.
That's standard, man. It's called getting older. Let's embrace even as far as my weight loss goes, I'm not trying to aim for being like super thin. I might do it once, but I don't know, I've done it earlier when I was younger. I was really into lifting, really into, bulking, cutting and getting shredded and all that. And it sucks ass. I'll be honest, it sucks. It's horrible. Every time I did it, it was like, yeah, I'm shredded, but it's horrible. I don't want to do it. I'll be honest. I'm past caring about that crap. So I might do it this time for the Shred City Dream Series, just for fun, like one last time. But I don't plan to ever, if I even do succeed with it this time, I don't plan to ever do that again because it's horrible. You feel like you're starving and it sucks. I'll be honest.
Yeah, if you're working out enough, like in Japan and Korea, you can eat like some really delicious food that's not bad for you. That's the thing about being in the U.S. Anything you eat outside, it's shitty food. I mean,
No,
let's face it. Like,
there's some shitty
Yeah.
food outside in Japan too. Like,
But
don't get me
everywhere,
wrong,
for
it's
sure.
delicious, but like there's some.
well, if you eat like tonkatsu and that stuff, I guess I'm weird. I don't really like that kind of stuff. But
My problem's not eating
yeah.
out, by the way. I have like a Japanese wife who likes to cook a lot, so I just eat legit food most of the time. But it's just
Nice.
being a
Volume.
sedentary asshole. No, it's mostly just being a sedentary asshole. Like
It's actually, yeah.
probably
My
that.
mother-in-law also likes cooking, so they both make food for me. So
Yeah.
it doesn't do me any favors.
Yeah. The wife
Lucas,
has
you're
been.
not in you're
What's
you're
up?
not in Japan right now, are you?
No, not right now. No. Probably
Oh, okay.
2022. 2022. I'm thinking. 2021, I'll do a trip and figure out where I want to live, and then 2022, not just where I want to live, more importantly, where I want to do business, and then 2022, we're gonna go ahead and make the move. I'm thinking right now. So not yet.
Yeah, good luck with it, man. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, Asia's been one of my favorite places to travel. I'm actually going back to the U.S.
Have you been to
for the
China?
last 2 years. I've been to China a couple times.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's from Xinjiang province.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she,
no, I've talked to you. I guess I've talked to you. I think you're the
yeah.
Xinjiang guy. Oh, yeah, nice, nice.
Yeah,
So
but
she's like Han Chinese from Xinjiang, I'm guessing.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
like regular Han Chinese kind of thing.
Yeah, she's like the imperialist Han Chinese. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, but I'm
Oh
not.
man,
But yeah, it's all good. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It is what it is. It is. There's a lot. It's a complicated situation. We're gonna go ahead and China's a great place, and I never want to ever be banned from traveling there. So I'm only gonna say positive things in a public forum.
you
So
got that 10-year visa too. Yeah, same one I got. The
yeah,
10-year. Yeah.
yeah. I don't plan on getting that revoked anytime soon. So yeah, China. Its government does what it needs to do in order to rule such a complex and diverse culture, or whatever the hell I need to say.
Like they say, right?
I swing us back in a different direction.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What's
So,
good?
kind of curious about the word list that we have for known words in the Migaku extension versus
So-
known words in Morphmass.
Yeah, no problem.
So in Morphman, we can import one way into Migaku, right? But after that, you continue to learn new words in Morphman. You also continue to learn new words in Migaku. Like, how do you continue to sync them both?
The
Or you
issue
wouldn't,
is
right?
they use both currently. Now I'm already in talking. No Compo and I are like working on some projects. One thing we'll eventually do is go ahead and make the dictionaries match. So you're going to have to install a dictionary that matches. Luckily, they use the same format dictionary, so they should match as long as we get the same dictionary in both. Um, um, so for the
Okay.
people who do use Morphman, so I would say for people who do use Morphman, there will be some capability of keeping things in sync through importing your known word database at some interval, because importing how the system works is importing new known words will overwrite them, but it will never make a word unknown. So it doesn't harm your well, I guess it could harm it because it will make a learning word known. If you import it, it will always, like, say you import from Anki, what's going to happen is that it's going to say a word was unknown or learning. If once you import from Anki, that word is marked known within Anki, like it occurs within a card that has over a 21-day interval by default, then it will overwrite that word's current learning.
Which
Or
is fine.
hey,
because
can
it's
you
being
mute
known.
yourself, Wandering Doc? We're getting some feedback. Thank you. But yeah, thank you. But anyways, so that's what happens now. So I could see, and I'm talking with Ocampo, who is currently the who currently oversees the repo for Morphman. And the thing that we're thinking is that, or currently, or from like the last time that we talked, is just the easy ability to import the words database known list into the Migaku browser extension, and then having them both share the dictionary that they use. That way they parse everything the same way. However, I will say that as and I'm open to this, and I'm talking with NoCompo, and we're all for having Morphman, support be integrated, because I know a lot of people use that in the community. But as far as Migaku projects go themselves, Morphman is not going to be a part of those, and I'm going to say that openly, because as I've said, I've actually talked with a few of you here before about this, or no, maybe just a couple of you. But anyways, the thing that happens with something like Morphman, it requires you to store a huge amount of like data on your either computer or your phone. And going forward, like from the background that I have as someone who was very fortunate to be adopted into from Brazil into the United States, and was able to learn English and have a lot of more opportunities open me through that. I really want to help those people in that situation. Like, that is, I'm not going to shy away from that. That is a primary focus of Migaku. Like, I really like that to be, because I think a lot of people have a lot to gain from language learning, more so than people who are doing it as a hobby, which is fine. I've did language learning as, I should add, I did language learning as a hobby for fucking like 8 years, so I know, I'm all for it. But I'm just saying, I really want to help those people who really need to learn language. And a lot of them are in a financial situation where they can't realistically be expected to store. I mean, perhaps this will change because I guess file sizes won't change yet. Yet the minimum storage capacity will change on phones and things, but it requires piracy. It just requires a very complicated situation to set up for a lot of these people, and they're not going to be able to do that. So I want to make it like a more plug and play sort of system. So with all of that in consideration, Migaku is never going to support something officially like Morphman. However, it will work alongside it by sharing a dictionary and allowing the import of them. So sorry to go into this sort of long answer, but I want to be very precise about that. So if Morphman is not going to be a part, like officially, of Migaku going forward.
Got it. So then it sounds like then I would potentially have like 2 different known lists.
Well, yeah, but you could
Just
update
one
it at any
standard.
time. Yeah, you could they would. No, I mean, we could even. I'm even open to having some communication where it would sync automatically and things. But just know that, yeah, we can even do something like that. But just
Also, not even
one
really sure
question.
like to what extent like I want them to sync, right?
Yeah.
Because with Northbound and Anki, then it has a built-in like it will show to you by a certain point in time, so I know that
Yeah.
I'm seeing it again.
One question
Because
I
then,
want
like
to.
in my
Oh,
immersion
sorry, go on.
known, I don't know if it's gonna come back. But I have a hard time marking. I have a hard time moving a word from like seen to known in Migaku because I don't know how many times I've seen it. I don't know
Yep.
if it's right.
Yeah, no, I got you, for sure. But I think generally, when you. I think or like I feel like someone knows when they know a word. So I think them marking it known, and then you can always mark it unknown later. I think this idea of marking a word known or unknown, I hope to make a video about it in the future. People should just be much more liberal. If you feel like you know a word, just mark it known. You'll know it. You don't know it next time when you see it. You know what I mean? You can always just mark it unknown again. So,
That's a good point.
and there'll be hotkeys in the future. Yeah, I think people get way too hung up on this. It's going to be pretty obvious to you if you don't know a word when you come across it again, and you can always just mark it unknown. So, probably being liberal with marking things known is fine. But just in general, I have a question. So, Cloak, and I know other people use Morphman as well. I found that my preference was to not. I actually used something like I very momentarily, probably for the span of less than a month, at I guess it was, yeah, the very beginning of this year in early 2020. There was a plan to travel to China in April before this pandemic crap happened, and I had briefly started studying Chinese for a moment, and I was using, I'd said, oh, let me make a few cards, and I was using Morphman, and I just noticed that it would just give you, I didn't like how it didn't give you the most recent thing you had learned. You know what I mean? Like the most recent content that you had immersed with. So I'm just curious on some feedback. How do you feel about that? Because I felt that really turned me off of it, for myself, because I was, for many years, but mind you, that's because of my background. I'm not, I'm not trying to hide that, and I'm pretty biased because of that. I grew to really enjoy seeing the cards that I had just recently created from my immersion and from the episode that I had just seen coming up, relatively soon after I had made them. And something like Morphman, after just a few episodes, you get like random cards and random things that you don't remember anymore. And I felt that was I felt the quality of my learning experience was a lot, like it was
Oh.
greatly hindered. So do you feel you get that in your experience or not? Or I'm just curious.
I don't get that because I separate my decks a bit, right? So if I'm gonna subs to SRS a deck, and so I have a whole bunch of things I haven't personally mined myself, that goes into a different deck than the ones I actually did during immersion. So then
Yeah,
I can command how many new cards I'm getting from each deck, and so I'm ensuring that I'm getting ones from my immersion.
I see. Yeah, that sounds okay. So that makes sense. So as far as if you just talk about the cards that you do get from your other deck, how do you feel about them compared to the ones that you get from your immersion?
They seem fine, right? Like right now I'm trying to deep dive a series, and so I'm actually I'm actually mining from it. Then also I have another deck just in case I didn't get a forge for the day, so I have the entire subs to
Yeah, yeah.
for it, and it seems fine. Like, I went through it, and all the first ones were like like all the short ones I never actually mined because they're just sounds.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just like threw them at me quick because they're high frequency. So it seems like it's working.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, as far as there are some ideas that I've talked with No Compo for some similar functionality that wouldn't require this somewhat similar functionality, not fully similar functionality, but that wouldn't require this sort of huge backlog of both cards and media files. So, but yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I guess realistically, I would need to hear in more detail the experiences of more Morphman users as well. But yeah, for now, I don't think that's fully the direction that.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. I was
we're
just curious
gonna go.
how that's working. Yeah.
No, yeah, no problem, no problem, no problem. No, I mean, I'm open to making them play nice together. That's fine. Yeah, because I know some people prefer that, and that's fine. Cool. Go on. What's up?
Direction. Is there a place where we can see like the submitted bugs and feature requests? Like sometimes I submit them and I don't remember if I did or not, so I don't want to like keep resubmitting them.
Not currently, not currently. In the future, once we have more, the plan is to actually make not very. Okay, let's not get pat ourselves on the back too much, but I suppose in the future something that we do want to do is make pretty robust systems that will allow for these kinds of things, but we're very much in the infancy of what we're doing. So there's not even a website. There's just such a long way to go. But the probably in the future there will be an actual bug reporting section of the website, I'm guessing, and then you will be able to see that. And perhaps when that happens, we can at first import all of the bug reports from the Google form. But for the moment, that's not available yet.
I actually don't even know if you really want to do that. I can't think of any other software that like publicly allows you to see their whole list of bugs and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there are no. I mean, if you do like a forum, because like we may do a forum or something like that. So, in that case, you could do a support forum. There's a lot of support forums that have that sort of functionality.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and if we do something like that, that way users can help each other without always requiring, hopefully staff members or whatever, happen to be Migaku team members or whatever to work on everything. Because the majority of bug reports, mind you, it's because the majority of bug reports, and as I was saying, it's definitely because the software is convoluted and difficult to use, but they're mostly user error from experience of helping people with bugs over the past 2 years. The vast majority of user error, which is not to say that there isn't designer error in making the software shit, because there certainly is, but yeah, so it's mostly that. So having a filtering mechanism where the community helps each other with those sorts of bugs would probably be a good, or perhaps would be a good system going forward, along with some moderators that would tell people, that would be able to discern whether something is a bug or not. And then, if something was a bug, they would actually alert the team. You see what I'm saying? Something like that is what I'm thinking of going forward.
Hey, Lucas.
Yeah.
What's up? What's good?
What was your ratio? I know you did like time boxing all day, but when you were studying Chinese, do you think like a ratio of like 30 minutes of Anki, like 30 minutes to an hour of reading, and just like listening throughout the day? I'm curious what you did, and what do you think is too much and not enough Anki?
I made a full video about the ratios that I like to use. I like to over time I like to use extremely small ratios of just a few minutes, even at depending. I would just do it based on my mood. If I'm really not feeling like doing like fuck my life, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing, then I would really bring the ratios down really low. And then, I mean, did you watch my video about time boxing?
Well, I'm not talking so much time boxing. I'm talking about
just total.
If you had like 3 hours or 2 to 3 hours of dedicated study, how much is too little and too much Anki?
It depends where you're at. I think people, I think there was just a conversation in chat earlier today, and I personally think that a lot of Anki in the beginning, or just a lot of SRSing in general, like a lot of memorization, and preparation, um, for immersion is probably the best route. Like that's my intuition. It's kind of the path I followed, but you can very quickly get to the point where you can understand huge swaths of your immersion by just spending more time. Like for example, say let me speak more concretely. Say you're going to learn like x, yeah, we don't even have to use real numbers here. We can just say you're going to learn x words in Anki, and that will allow you to reach 80% coverage of grammar patterns, or no, sorry, 90% coverage of grammar patterns and 80% coverage of vocabulary in 1 year. But say you just do X times 2 cards, that will allow you to reach there in half a year. Okay, or maybe X times 3. So the thing that can happen, and I think that's the primary objective that someone should have before immersing, is to reach the point where the percentage chance of them understanding like 4 out of 5 words in every sentence is extremely high, and that really opens up a language. So my personal belief has been, since forever ago, and from the very moment I started making videos on YouTube, is that reaching this level actually makes immersion learning tenable and possible and feel a lot better. So doing more immersion or doing more SRS at the beginning, if one can tolerate it, to reach this level quicker, I personally think is preferable. However, I don't know what to suggest. I will suggest what I know. When we make the website, I will suggest what I believe to be the case, but I will suggest that it really depends on the individual's tolerance for SRSing. So I can't say for certain. So in your case, it depends. You should ask yourself, do you understand 80% of, or 85% of the stuff coming up? Do you understand 90% of, or 90% or more of the grammar patterns that you see? If so, then you probably don't need to go that heavy on the SRS. And if like keeping it to something like 1/3 of your time, it's probably fine. And I think slowly scaling that down as you understand a higher and higher percentage of your immersion material. Another thing that I always, I actually was just talking with No Compo earlier today about this, because I just made a recommendation to start reading a lot more to him, and he's doing that. And another thing, he's like, but this seems pretty easy. There's not a lot of new words in it. There are not that many one target sentences or multi-target sentences even. And I said, well, that's fine, because the majority of the benefit, like the majority of your growth in language learning, is going to come from reading 0 target sentences, not 1 target sentences or multi-target sentences. It comes from reading 0 target sentences and understanding the meaning fully and becoming very intuitively aware of what those words in that given 0 target sentence mean. So,
and I think you're totally right on that, because the one thing I've noticed when I was learning The Little Prince, and in general reading, you have to actually read the sentence in order to not translate into English and get the raw meaning into your head. You have to read it at a certain speed. Once you start slowing down, you don't have the flow of the sentence. Like, let's say there's some long sentences. Let's say it's like whatever, 10 or 12 words, right? If you start, I don't know that word, you've lost the train of thought, and you're thinking, and you're not. You actually have to understand pretty much every word, and you have to read at 2 or 3 words a second, or else I've noticed the raw meaning doesn't go into my head.
Well, I mean, I don't know necessarily about the speed aspect of what you're saying, but I definitely would say that the majority of language acquisition happens on 0 target words, not 1 target or multi-target. I have like a plan to make a video about this, but the majority of language acquisition happens on 0 target words. It doesn't happen on words that, where you don't know. That's where you actually get good. It's by reading a lot of messages that you know.
Yeah, unless you have like 98% comprehension, and then you can infer words, but I think that's so hard with Chinese.
No, but even if you're inferring words, you're growing your vocabulary, but that's different than growing your like raw language ability. You know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, even if it's a zero
Yeah.
target word, you're growing your like natural ability to use language. What's happening is a lot more complex than just seeing like you're seeing how if you're just reading like say you're reading a paragraph of zero target sentences, what you're getting is like structure of how people put together ideas in their language. You're getting so much more than just what's within
Yeah.
the sentence. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit
Sure.
silly like the but yeah, when you infer new vocabulary, that's fine. And then it becomes, the next time you see it, perhaps it'll be a zero target sentence. And then you have a chance to really like better acquire, right? It's very rare, even if you think about in your, like when I read a book in English, I'll be honest, I'm going to run across a bunch of words that I'm either not familiar with at all or that are just completely new to me because that's the reality. I don't read a lot in English except technical text. If I'm going to read a novel or something, I'm sure that will happen. And the fact is, I'm not expecting, even if I can infer the meaning, it's going to take a few occasions with whatever word before it's going to take me understanding a given word a few times in context before
Yeah.
I actually get what's going on there and have a
I
chance
think
to
they
ever use it
studied that.
myself.
It was like 20 or 30 times of exposure to get the full. Someone
Yeah.
said that about English. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it might be. So yeah, definitely. But in the way we're talking about, it's definitely way past the zero, one target level. You'll pass that, and then it'll become a zero target sentence, and that's where acquisition happens in my experience. So I would say move on to when you get to the point that you can spend the majority of your time consuming zero target sentences and understanding them through your immersion, then don't make the mistake that I even did before I understood this principle, and just go ahead and just continue consuming those zero target sentences mostly, and just focus on learning something new every day because your language ability is actually growing the most when you're just parsing things you already know. It might not seem that way.
well, that's revelatory because I remember when you talked about your learning Chinese series,
Yeah.
you said you were at a point where you were trying to read a novel and like almost every third word you were looking up, but now it seems like you've consolidated that information into saying no, you should be reading like 95+% comprehension most of the time because you yourself in your experience,
Go on.
it seems like you were doing something else according to your video at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned. As far as when you go about reading, which it's going to be the video that I'm going to be making soon. I would say that there are different modes of reading, and a mode of reading where you look up a lot of words is fine as well. But one needs to separate that from the mode of reading where you're just trying to understand messages without putting pressure on yourself, and you're just trying to understand messages. And it's definitely a different mode of, I think I've made a video somewhat about this before, and something that I used to do from as early back as when I studied Japanese is I would just highlight words that I didn't know and just forget about them when I was reading. And then I would flip back through the book, like these were physical books even. I would just highlight the words that I didn't know, and then I would just keep reading. I just kept reading, and this is something I did so intensively in Japanese, and it was fine. And then I would just go back through the book and cross out X number of words and just learn those later. So I was even when like later into my Japanese even later into my Japanese learning, I had already learned that, and I would do it with physical books, all the time. So just focus on just understanding as many messages as you can. You can at times just say, I'm going to look up every word that I don't know. But don't do that all the time because you're going to burn out.
It seems like I'm doing that
sucks.
pretty much all the time.
Don't do that all the
You've
time.
just told me something different.
Yeah, no. Have you watched my video about listening? It's kind of a similar concept. You don't want to always be looking up everything. It's going to suck.
Well, with listening, it's different because you're right. Because listening, you don't have the time, and so with the reading, that's a good. I think listening in Chinese is a different skill than reading. I don't know how maybe they reinforce each other because when I'm reading more, I feel like I could listen better. but I really think
No,
it's a
for
different
sure.
skill.
No, I think for sure in both. I mean, they are different skills in whatever language, but for
I
sure
think
they
that's pretty much
reinforce each other.
every
Yeah.
language they're
For
different.
sure, they're different. I mean, they are legitimately different skills. Like if you look at what happens in your brain, it's a different thing. Like for one thing, I know for certain is that
think
I
it's
can.
subconscious.
I,
Yeah,
I,
for
I
this
like to
thing.
think that. Well, I mean, this is not just me, but like something that I've seen is that people tend to write a lot better than they speak, right? Because you can take your time. It's like a different thing. And I also saw something where it seems to be a different part of your brain that comes up with prose, like written prose, than it is that comes up with written speech as well. Like, and I think I've tried to pay attention to that before when writing and when speaking, and even right now, if I try to do the same thing, I can notice that there is much less an analytical part of my brain being used when I'm, speaking rather than when I'm writing or something. So there
Mm.
definitely seems to be a lot, it is a different sort of process. It does seem to be that way for whatever language. But I did also see something that is a little bit interesting, which is that Chinese, or just tonal languages in general, they use two sides of your brain, where most languages don't, that aren't tonal.
Mhm.
So it does seem like there's another process that happens when you're listening to a tonal language, which is you're paying attention to the actual tone. It probably is something like that, and then you're also paying attention to the meaning or something. But I don't know if you guys ever seen something about that, but I found it interesting when I did find out about that information. So
Well, here's another thing that I just blew my mind. I was thinking about this, and
go on.
so even just to read Chinese, you need to know 4 things about the character. So you need to know the morphology of the kanji. You need to know the meaning of the kanji. You need to know the reading of the kanji and the tone. So that's 4 things. So when you're
What do you
reading
need? Why do you
Portuguese
need the
or English,
morphology of the kanji? I don't understand. Oh, you mean just the shape?
well, think about it.
You mean the shape?
The shape, the
You need
shape.
to know what it
Yeah.
looks
So
like.
even if
Okay.
you know the meaning
Go on.
or whatever, it's not the same. It's not the same thing because meanings each component of the 2 characters. Like if you
I
look
see.
up a
I
definition of
see
one
what you're saying
kanji,
already. I see what you're saying
yeah.
already. No,
But do
I'm
that
just
same
saying, I'm just
exercise
wanted
with
to
a
know what
rope.
you meant by
Yeah.
morphology. You mean like the shape of the character, right? Because if you say
Yeah.
morphology, it might. I see. You
Mm.
know the shape of the character on site is what you mean. I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, it's definitely a very
That's a lot of
weird.
things to know
Yeah.
compared to like a Roman language. I mean, think about it. Roman language, you really need to know 1.5 things, the meaning. But you could start reading. It's pretty phonetic. Like, yeah, sure, English. But if you're reading Spanish, it's pretty phonetic. So
Yeah.
even if you come across a word you don't know, like you said in reading, you just go right through it. It's much easier to just blaze through it. But in Chinese, I feel like we skip words in Japanese. You said, I feel like it's hard to skip them. I
No,
don't
you
know.
Yeah,
can
but the
just
thing
skip
is,
them. You
native
can just
speakers
skip them.
skip ship. Well,
Yeah.
native speakers skip stuff all
Yeah,
the time.
exactly. I was
so-
gonna say, dude, you have to realize that my wife, and like just people in general, dude, they skip over shit. They don't care. Just adopt that right away, because
Yeah.
that's the right attitude.
Yeah.
My wife will read like, good luck. Do you know like some of like, I know some people love to read these visual novels. Dude, my wife will just skip over all that bullshit. She doesn't
My
give
wife
yeah.
constantly asks me how to pronounce things, and I'm like, I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Yeah, they don't give a shit, dude. Native
Wow.
speakers don't know like tons of those words. Like if you actually put people who aren't into a given area, they're literally which is limiting. I actually plan to make a video about shitting on I'm gonna say like I love kanji, but kanji are shit like pretty much because they're pretty objectively like not the best way to write a language. And even though I understand the challenges of doing something, of sorry, 1 second. No, yeah. So I even though I understand the challenges of expressing a language like Japanese that has so many words of sharing the exact same pronunciation, I don't think the best way to get around that problem is to inject thousands of kanji with different readings like that are read differently in different situations into the mix. That is not the best way to do it. And I don't think that
Yeah.
any Japanese person who wasn't taking history into account would argue that it is. The only reason that they have that system, it's pretty obvious, is because their history and they're borrowing from China. There's no way that they would come up with let's use this system now. And if you can say there's no way you'd come up with let's use this system now, then it's just obviously a bad system because no one would arrive at that with a modern mindset, right?
I like kanji now, but it took me a long time to get to the point where I think it's okay. Like the first, I don't know, couple years, I was like, this is the fucking worst. I enjoy it now.
I like it,
It's
yeah.
good, yeah.
Because I got like
But it was
pretty
fucking
crazy
bad.
at kanji, and then it was just like, yeah, I'm the kanji wizard. But I mean, like, and then you can kind of fool yourself and it's stupid. But yeah, no, legit. No, I feel it, man. At the beginning, it's such a hurdle, right? It's such a hurdle.
I mean, I like it now because I can generally guess the readings of most words that
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know and get the eatings, but it takes so fucking long for it to be useful. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, for sure. Now it's like I see a new kanji, I can guess a reading, I can guess like the meaning, I can do all of those things. I mean, mind you, and I haven't even, I mean, you know, I'm nowhere near the peak of my kanji ability or Hanzo ability, right? But for sure, no, I feel it. But you
You know
do
what
get to a point where it doesn't
Super
feel like it's anything special. What's up?
So I happen to come across this on the internet. Usually I don't read these kind of forum things, but they had a fascinating discussion. I forgot, I still have the link, where basically if you get, what makes Chinese different, and I think this applies to Japanese because they got the two kanji characters, words obviously from China, but so once you get to like, let's just call it, I think it was 85% or 90% comprehension of a basic frequency, right? So
Yeah.
like, let's say you need 5,000 words. To go past that in any language, to add 1%, in Chinese, you would need the most words, which is why Anki and SRS is almost unavoidable. But the issue is, so to get like an extra 1% in English, you would need like 2 or 2.5% more words in Chinese. And the reason is the way that they combine, like the single character combine. So after a certain point, once you know like 10 or 15,000 words, you're not going to go from like 5,000 to 60,000 words just to get like 99% comprehension. That's where there's a perpetual problem with novels, that everyone's always at 95% comprehension. So at that point,
But
it
one
makes sense
thing
to
that
actually just
I
learn like 4,000
Run?
characters, instead of learning new words in Anki. What's that?
But no, one thing that you'll notice, like especially something that I noticed with Chinese as I, went over 20,000 vocabulary, is that
Mm.
these words that you're talking about, there are so many words in Chinese where it's relatively easy. They're just this. It's similar in Japanese.
Yeah.
They're just different ways of saying the same shit. And then once you know characters, like you can generally
Exactly.
guess
The
that it's
meaning
just
of once you know the two
they
individual characters you're talking about, right?
they mean the same shit a lot of the time, dude. Like there's so many words that just mean the same thing. Like so once you kind of get used to that, it's not really a big deal. And just let
Well,
me
I think
tell
you
you,
were
let me tell
studying
you
from
right now.
content. I think that's why for you it's easy because you probably know 4,000 or 5,000 characters, and that's what I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
when
you're
you get
right.
there,
And
that's
I
what I'm
think
saying. Yeah. But one thing I
yeah.
also want to say, like being in China, I will tell you right now that the characters, you have to stop focusing so much on the characters. There are people with great Chinese ability that can't read for shit in China, right? They have like obviously you want to read, you want to do that, but
It's a different skill.
remember
Also,
it's a different skill. Yeah, it's not related. That's something I made kind of a video about before. Reading characters is not the language ability. It really isn't. Like it's gonna help you, sure, but focusing on like instead like this is my mentality now. Instead of focusing, once you get to the point where you're understanding most things, sure, look up the unknown words, but I wouldn't memorize them. I wouldn't bother with that because the majority of those words aren't actually going to help you get better at your language ability. They're just not. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely different game. It's like, oh, can I know rare words that are rarely used? It's like spelling bee shit. So I really suggest getting away from that. And you'll see that if you don't pay attention to that. Perhaps if you pay attention to that in Chinese, you're going to see that, yeah, going to 95, going 1% up from 98 or to 99% comprehension, it's going to require a bunch of words. But those are also a bunch of words that most native speakers are probably skipping over. So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? So I would just be I would be very careful about that, because using Anki to learn all of those, it's think about the time investment. Like it took me actually sitting down and thinking about it. It's like, think about the time investment in learning all these rare words in
20,000
Anki.
cards is crazy, by the way. 20,000 cards
I did
is impressive.
35,000
That's like full time.
I did 35,000 in Japanese, or like maybe close to, yeah, it was
Oh.
really, that's crazy. Yeah, so I'm speaking from experience saying you don't need that shit. Legit, you don't, because like I dropped it. I didn't do it in I mean, I did a lot less in Chinese and it was fine. In Portuguese, I mean, Portuguese is fucking easy. So let's be honest. Like, let's stop playing games with that. But, I stopped studying in an SRS really soon on into that. I only did it for like 3 months, new cards, 5 months total, and then I was just done. And you didn't really need to. But the thing is, yeah, I would just, if you like, one thing you should just simply ask yourself, am I learning a spelling bee word right now? If you think you're learning a spelling bee word, stop. Like, if you're thinking, if this was a word in English, is this a word on the spelling bee? If it is, just stop. Just stop learning it.
Well,
because
that's why, yeah,
it's
that's why I asked about these
I'm gonna say one
frequency
thing.
lists.
I'm gonna say one thing else too. Like, if it's something you want to do at some point, then go ahead and do it at some point. But don't do it when you're like not really, worry about those words when you're a fucking great speaker of your target language. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you worry about those words.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of those foreigners who knows a shit ton of words, but you still speak like an idiot because you don't know how to use them correctly.
You're gonna see,
it's better to use a limited thing naturally than have a giant vocabulary but use it all weird.
Yeah, and I mean,
Well, let
it's
me
not
ask
only
you
that,
guys
you're
this
gonna end
then.
up sinking a bunch of time. Like, I would have ultimately been better. Mind you, I learned a shitload of rare words, and it was cool. It's like, oh, I read the rare words, and then here's my Japanese friend. He doesn't read this rare word. Ha ha! I read this rare word. But yet his ability in actual Japanese is like blows mine out of the water. And perhaps if I had actually just spent my time not learning all these stupid rare words, like I made a rare word junkie video, right? If I didn't spend all that time learning rare words that are actually useless to real language ability, my actual level would have been a lot better. You can sink time learning shit that's actually not improved. Like, there's this messed up intuition that people have that learning words is what makes you better. But like I said earlier, consuming zero target sentences is what makes you better. So do that. Like, your focus should be consume zero target sentences as much as possible. Increase the number of words that are zero target. Like, increase the number of sentences that are zero target, and then consume as many of those as possible. That's how you get better at a language.
I think for me, one of the things was getting over. I'd say for
By
me,
the way,
one
I
of the
gotta
things
go in
was
like
getting over
2-3 minutes, guys. So let's
Okay.
go.
I was gonna say was getting over myself and reading shit made for children because that, like, seriously perfect. Where I'm like, oh no, I should be reading novels and stuff. But getting over that was one of the things that ended up helping me improve a bit.
And that improved your output as well.
Yeah, significantly.
Yeah, no, I
So,
mean, the
okay,
zero target words are what
that's what
help
I'm
the
trying to
output
figure
the
out.
most too, for sure. Zero target, like reading.
Zero target.
Yeah, because you understand all of what's going on, right? Like, you really get. So stop focus. The one thing that people do, man, and I did, you focus on the one target stuff. One target is great. You want to get that every. Make sure you. It's like, okay. Make sure. Okay, I'm not gonna say. Okay, whatever. Say you need, you need some. Okay, maybe like this. To survive, this is a stupid ass analogy. This is terrible, but whatever. Okay, say you're a child, and in order to grow, you need like 1,200 calories, right? Or whatever. Say it's 1,200. But in order to just maintain your size and live, you need 1,000 calories. Okay, so actually no, never mind. This analogy doesn't work for shit. Now that I think. But anyways, the point is, like, make sure you get your one target words in, because that's going to ensure that you continue to grow. but your zero
So this
target
is what I
word.
was gonna what I've been asking you just before you guys go. You
I
I know
said
you
that
guys
really
have
bad.
an
Go on.
opinion on this. Lucas,
What's
you have
up?
an opinion on this.
What's good?
If I'm at the 9-month mark, and there's a lot of people that are they're asking me to output to them right now. You would say if I'm not in the country and if I have no need for it, there's no what the other what random said is if you're just reading and listening, that's in a sense improving your output as well. Do I need to shadow? Do I need to buy a mic setup? Do I
You're
need to go
9
on
months in, you're
iTalki?
probably not needing to do that stuff. If you want to just output, just go ahead and output. I'm going to make a video about outputting. I think by far the best way to output is to not speak at first. You need to know how to speak, and I think it's through writing. The best way to output is through writing. By far, like not even close. It's how I've always started outputting. And once I learned, you can become very comfortable and very natural through always making sure you output through writing at first and become very natural. But however, I lived in China from day one. I didn't speak Chinese and I just output whatever. Who gives a shit? Have a good time. So if it's all about having, if it's have a good time, is the focus of that social occasion, I say just output it. Who cares? Just have a good time. It's not going to kill your Chinese. I made a video. The best Chinese speaker, like foreign Chinese speaker that I've ever met, was a guy who output from day one and just got after it. He just liked studying Chinese. He kept trying to improve. He would, focus and like listen to his pronunciation, do things he had to do, but he output from day one. It didn't matter. What matters is that you just have a drive to continue and actually pay attention to where you need to improve. And as long as you do that, you're going to continue to improve. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I've noticed that people that actually sound very good and natural in these languages, they always consciously try to, because some people they learn English,
Yeah.
they don't really care how they sound.
Yeah.
They just talk.
Yeah, the people who
But I think
sound the
you're right.
best are
Yeah.
because they tried to sound the best. Absolutely. They actually
If
tried.
you care, you'll improve.
Yeah.
If you don't care, you won't.
Yeah, exactly. You have to try in order to get better at that, for sure. It's not something that it's like as a kid that you'll just naturally do. You know what I mean? I do. I have my suspicion that because I remember as a child learning English, I actually did try. So I remember trying, like consciously trying to sound like my peers. So I'm curious if that's something that happens at a much younger age to children, but they don't remember it. I'm curious if that's the case. I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm curious.
I mean, it makes sense. Peer pressure and stuff. People want to fit in. You feel less of that as an adult.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Guys, I have to
All
go.
right.
I'm having a good time, but I have to go. It's pretty late over here. I have to eat dinner. It's like 10. I haven't even eaten dinner. I gotta eat dinner and get my last binge in and get some more weight, in this gut. Let's try to gain another couple pounds before the night's out yet. So
All right, guys.
pretty much.
Have a nice.
Thanks for coming.
have a
I'm
nice
not
one,
sure
guys.
we did too much as far as deciding what we're going to vote on. Guys, there's going to be one more hour to get any other feature proposals in, so get your feature proposals in. After that hour, I'm going to go ahead and release the vote, and then we'll vote for a few days, maybe like 2-3 days, maybe till like Wednesday or something, and then that will be that. So thanks so much for coming to today's Hangout. You guys are legends, every single one of you.
Yep.
See you guys.
Take it easy, dude.
Take it easy, guys. Have a great night. Don't get into too much trouble, and be careful. Wear a
Yes.
mask or whatever. Rona's out there.
Stop the recording yet?
I will. Hold on. I'll stop it. Then you can say these secret. Okay, hey guys. So anyone listening to the recording later on, all the secret information is gonna happen after I stop the recording right now. So you missed it.